foreign editor of Weekly Blitz. Now we move on to Mexico. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has said that she has voiced her disagreement with the U.S. decision to revoke approval for 13 Mexican airline routes into the United States and cancel combined passenger as well as cargo flights. She has further stated that she will request a meeting between Mexico's foreign minister and the U.S. Secretary of State to review what she has called unilateral action and announced plans to meet with Mexican career executives on Friday, 31st of October, to hear their perspective. Sheinbaum has expressed optimism that both nations can reach a constructive understanding and resolve tensions around aviation services between them. The dispute marks a sharp escalation in already strained aviation relations between the two neighbors, coming on the heels of a U.S. decision forcing Delta and Aeromexico to unwind their joint venture. Now for this discussion, we welcome Matthew Vadam. He's an American journalist, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Matthew, for joining us again. Good to see you. Matthew, looking at this, what more can you tell us, and how could this U.S. revocation of Mexican airline route impact Mexico-U.S. relations further?
Well, essentially, I believe that the American Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, is accusing Mexico of unfair trade practices, claiming that Mexico illegally canceled and froze U.S. carrier flights for 3 years without suffering any consequences. So this is, this is tit for tat. This is payback, retaliation against Mexico for what the United States government considers to be unfair practices. And, it's certainly not good for U.S.-Mexican relations, but a good part of President Trump's policy on trade, and I guess this is more international commerce, is to make sure that both sides are playing fairly. And
right, and
I'm not sure if Mexico did engage in unfair trade practices, but this is the accusation that the United States government is making.
And to what extent does this dispute reflect underlying tensions between these two?
Well, there's a lot of tension between the United States government and Mexico right now, especially with the new president took office. She's not that new, Sheinbaum, who is, I think, markedly more left-wing than her predecessor, who was already pretty left-wing, more left-wing than the American government prefers. And the United States is not happy that Mexico does not want to cooperate in allowing the U.S. military to attack the narco-trafficking cartels that Mexico has been unable to eradicate. So there are regular trade issues where America doesn't feel that it's being treated fairly. So there is a great deal of tension between the United States and Mexico right now, and this only turns up the volume and is going to make things worse for diplomatic relations and trade relations between the two countries for the foreseeable future, I would think.
And what political leverage does Mexico have on negotiating aviation rights, and Claudia Sheinbaum has, and how might President Trump react to that?
Well, the leverage I guess it has is that I'm not sure how difficult this would be for Mexico to do, but it could deny landing privileges to U.S. airlines in Mexico, which I'm not sure if Mexico would want to do that, because Mexico is a largely tourism-dependent economy, and lots of Americans go to Acapulco and Cancun and Mexico City and other what they consider to be exotic locales in Mexico for vacation. So Mexico is quite dependent upon U.S. tourist dollars. So Mexico could make it difficult for U.S. Airlines to land in their country at their airports. I'm not sure if it'd want to do that though, because that might be, that we have that saying in America, or in the English-speaking world, to cut off one's nose to spite one's face. They might be hurting themselves more than they're hurting the United States by doing that. But yeah, they could do that, at least on a temporary basis, to try and send a message to the American government. They could crack down on other aspects of trade too, and it's really hard for me to speculate on what they might do. They could make it more difficult to import Mexican products into the United States, but again, that's again a situation of cutting off one's nose to spite one's face, because I think Mexico needs the trade with the United States badly in order to support its economy. So yeah, there are many things that Mexico could do, but I'm not sure that it would want to do them, at least not at this stage.
Thank you very much, Matthew, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, Rio de Janeiro